Today we're going to take a look at every single 2026 Super Treasure Hunt and then follow it up with a ranking towards the end of the video. Kicking off the year of 2026, we start off on a bit of the weaker side with the Drift Ender, but I will say this on a positive note. This one is way nicer in person. The Spectra Flame Red really does pop on this one, but I feel like the yellow does not contrast the best with this one. However, I will say that the wheel choice is really solid for this one, and I think comparing it to other Fantasy Supers, I think that this one's pretty solid. But this one is technically licensed with Land Rover. This is technically a licensed casting, although it's similar to the Aston Martin from last year, if you remember that one from Diecast. It's technically licensed, but a fantasy casting with its own unique take. And given what we're shown here with the Drift Ender, I will say that I think they did a solid job with this one. Could have been better, but could have been so much worse. Following it up with the Diecast Super is the Mustang GTD Super Treasure Hunt. And this one had so much potential. I absolutely love the color, I love the livery, I love the detail that they put on this one. They gave this one headlights and taillights with a license plate, and that's where the TH is on this one. The only thing that's not making this super higher ranked for me is those abysmal choice for wheels. I don't understand why they went with gold. I mean, you already had the black. It was already blue and black. I don't understand why they just didn't go with like a set of nice black 6 spokes, or even a set of black 5 spokes would look really nice on this one. But I will say the color really does pop on this one. I actually really do like how it looks for the most part. But the wheels definitely could have been a massive improvement. But other than that, for it being the third colorway of this casting, I think it's a pretty solid choice. For C case, we have the F40 Super Treasure Hunt. This one is almost perfect. I definitely think it would have looked nicer in red. However, with the RLC coming, that makes up for it. This one's pretty well perfect. The TH is kind of a ghost TH. It's on the side of the car. It's in black though, so it's a little harder to see where the car is black. I'm assuming that's just so it doesn't look too out of place on the car, where Ferrari's kind of strict with the licensing. The wheel choice is perfect. The execution on this one's perfect. For the F40, you don't need anything crazy. I absolutely love that we're seeing these wheels again. The last time we seen these wheels, I forget when it was. I think it might have been the Aventador J, but they were in black. But the last time we seen them in chrome, I want to say was since the 599XX in 2012, when that was a Super Treasure Hunt. And this is the 4th Ferrari Super Treasure Hunt. And I'll be honest with you, I think this is one of my favorites for sure. Immediately after the F40, in D case, we have the 64 Impala. This is another one that's almost perfect, is pretty much perfect. The pinstriping is wonderful, the color choice was phenomenal, and these are not the final wheels. This one in particular is an unspun Impala Super. This doesn't have the final wheels. I'll have a photo of the final wheels somewhere in the video right now, but the final wheels are phenomenal. It's like a white wall. I'm sure most of you have already seen it. It's basically a white wall that's kind of laced. It has like a lace style wheel to it. They did a phenomenal job with this one. And it kind of reminds me of the Snowman lowrider from RLC that they did a few years back. And in a way, this is kind of a simpler version of that. And I'm not complaining about it at all. I think it looks phenomenal. And this is just another of many Supers this year that they did a phenomenal job with. E-Case has the 87 Ford Sierra Cosworth as its Super Treasure Hunt. This one, and I'm a huge sucker for Spectra Flame Pink, and I do like this casting. I think it would have looked nicer in a blue for a Super Treasure Hunt. And I don't know if this one's inspired by a real livery. I'm not as much into the Fords as other people, so if you know anything more about if this is a real livery, comment down below. But I will still say that this one is a pretty nice Super. I like pink on Supers, and given the livery on it, I think the livery matches the color very well. And those are not, again, not the final wheels. I'll have a picture of the final wheels on screen, and they have like a chrome lip on them for the final wheels. But again, this is another, I will say, really solid Super. Not my favorite, but very well done, and I do love it every time we see a Super in Spectra Flame King. F-Case follows that up with the Honda Civic Custom. I knew it was only a matter of time before Hot Wheels did an EG Super, and to do the Honda Civic Custom, I feel like this is one that we were going to see eventually. I'm not sure about the color choice on this one. I feel like they could have went with other ways with the color, but given the fact that they did go with this color, I still think that they did a solid job, all things considered. The wheel choice, they had the small wheels on the back and the bigger wheels towards the front. They're a bit mismatched. I noticed something that is very different on the regular compared to this one. This one has a chrome base, but I think the regular is more of a gray or black base. And when you do look at the top of this one has extra decals on the top that the main line doesn't. On the roof of the main line, it doesn't have that skid on it. So I think that kind of gets some points in my eyes, because you don't really see Supers with the extra decals anymore. The custom auto Super Treasure Hunt for this year's G-Case is only the second Super ever to not come with real riders. And I gotta say, I think it looks really good. I think they need to do this more with Hot Wheels original castings. If they're gonna make a fantasy casting a Super, that's how you do it right there, with the red line wheels. Change it up every now and then. And I think they did a really good job with this one. They didn't go too crazy like they have with other fantasy castings. I think this one looks good. And when's the last time you have seen any sort of red line in the main line for $1? Like, it's been far too long, and I hope we see this more with other castings, like a twin mill maybe, or something else along the line that Hot Wheels does. But they didn't go too crazy with this one. It looks clean. The red line wheels are really cool and something different, and I can appreciate it for that. H-Case has the Lotus Elise, and this one's pretty solid too. I like the burnt orange Spectra Flame. They did go with the black 5 spokes on this one. It doesn't look out of place. There's not really a whole lot to say about this one in particular. This is the second time they've done a Lotus as a Super. The first one was back in 2023. The TH is on the back of this one, right on the bumper. They kept it clean. They did the headlights and taillights. They put a black stripe on the hood of this one. They didn't really need to do a whole lot. And given the casting that they chose, I think they did a really good job with this one. J-Case, we have the Subaru WRX STI. This is a phenomenal Super. This one is basically the poster child on how to do a Super. This is the first Subaru Hot Wheels has made into a Super, and what a way to debut a particular brand as a Super Treasure Hunt. To give it this iconic livery, make it just look phenomenal. Like, words can't describe how awesome and how well done this Super Treasure Hunt was. The wheels are perfect, the livery is perfect. This is one of my favorites for the year, and it's not even debatable. K-Case, we have the tuned Toyota Supra. This one, I'm not really sure how to feel about it. I like the color, and I do like that they went with the Toyota stripes on this one. But I will say, I think it's probably one of the weaker Supers for the year. And I think this is one of the first times that they've done a tuned Super Treasure Hunt. I'm pretty sure the first one they did was the 69 Camaro tuned back in 2007, 2008. I think it might have been 2007. Following that up, I know in 2012 they did the VW Beetle, and I think that's it up to this point. If I can think of any more, I will put the names of them. But this is, in my opinion, I do think that this is a bit on the weaker side. Still looks pretty cool for what it is. A little bit weaker, but I still like it. The Nissan Maxima is, I believe, the third time we've seen K&N livery on the Super Treasure Hunt. First Japanese car, the first two were Corvette Super Treasure Hunts, one in 2016, and then in 2021 we had the Z07 convertible. This Super looks phenomenal in person. This one does not have the final wheels, but the rims are identical. The only difference being that the rims on the final version are bronze, not gold on this, like that are on this one. But I will say, I think this is a casting that definitely deserved being a Super Treasure Hunt. I love how they did it, and I don't think you could have asked for a better execution on a Super Treasure Hunt like this. And they did a really good job with this one. So, thumbs up from me on this one. I think it looks phenomenal. Great color choice, great execution. One of the better supers of the year for me. Speaking of castings that deserve to be a Super Treasure Hunt, this is another one of those supers that just absolutely deserved it. Another great casting that deserved it in a very unusual color. We don't really see Spectra Flame Brown on supers very often. And when you really compare it to the other one that I can think of that was brown, like the T2 Pickup, this is more of a root beer color. And I'll be honest, I actually really like it on this one. I love the wheel choice. These are like an RLC style wheel. I really like the wheel choice for this one. And these are basically RLC wheels on a Super Treasure Hunt, and they look good. Very well done. They didn't do a whole lot with this one. They have the headlights, which look good in that color, with that color, and side decals. Pretty simple, but it looks good. This is a casting I've wanted to see as a Super Treasure Hunt for quite some time, and I think they did a pretty good job on it. I am a huge fan of this NK Super, the Ram 1500 Rebel. I love how the purple Spectra Flame goes with the green decals. I'm not a big fan of the green windshield, but I can see where they're going with this one. Love the writing on the tires. I love when Hot Wheels does writing on the tires, because it does look good every time they do it. It's been a while since we've seen that. Since the Mustang Funny Car, but even longer before the Mustang Funny Car. And I hope this becomes a new trend. Absolutely love how this one turns out. The big TH in the back on this one. And this is a really fun super. I know it's not going to be the most popular to a lot of people, but I think that this is one of the nicer supers of the year. The 14th out of 15 Super Treasure Hunts of this year is the Plymouth Barracuda, the 70-bit Plymouth Barracuda. And it is so long overdue to have a Plymouth Barracuda as a Super Treasure Hunt. This is something I've wanted to see for a long time, and we finally got a Barracuda Super Treasure Hunt. And if you guys remember me and know me, you guys know I love Spectra Flame Gold. And if you're new here, now you know. Spectra Flame Gold might be my favorite color, and to have it on a Barracuda, I think it looks phenomenal. Wheel choice is phenomenal again with the writing on the tires. I believe it's just Hot Wheels writing on it, and that's the second straight super with writing on the tires. The flames look pretty solid on this one. I get what they were trying to do with it. Black with red flames, like it was like a ghost flame with the gold Spectra Flame to kind of make it look like yellow with the red edging, which I can see where they're going with that. It looks pretty good. Another great super, and this might be my favorite super of the year. Wrapping up our year for Super Treasure Hunts, we have the 67 Pontiac Firebird 400. Something seems missing on this one. I get what they were going for. They wanted to kind of keep it simple and clean, like what the 67 Firebirds were like at that time. But I feel like they could have at least added headlights to this one, because we have the stripes on the side, which look really nice, with nice white stripes. And it's hard to see on the car, but you do have little logos by where the little hood scoops would be. I'm going to pull it off here and I'll show you. See if I can show you here. But there are little logos on the hood scoop of this one. And don't get me wrong, I do like this Super Treasure Hunt. I think it looks really good. Great color choice. But something just seems a little missing on this one. And when I looked at this one, when I first got it, I did notice something. If you look at the front end on it, the front tires stick out. They do stick out a little bit on this one. And I've tried pushing them in, and that's as far as they go. So the stancing is a little bit off, but I still do like this Super Treasure Hunt. I love the color choice, and I do like the simplicity, but something does feel a little missing from it. I'm going to rank all these supers from worst to best. Just know this is my opinion. It's not the end of the world if you don't agree with it. If you don't agree with it, that's okay. Feel free to leave your rankings down below. First up in last place is going to be the Drift Ender. This one's actually pretty nice, but I just think the execution isn't all the way there. Following that up is the very next case Super Treasure, the Mustang GTD. The wheels really ruined this one for me. The 13th is going to be the Tune 94 Toyota Supra. In 12th place, we're going to put the Lotus Elise. Pretty well done. I'm just not the biggest Lotus fan. Following that up and concluding our first 5 Supers is the Custom Auto. Kicking off our top 10, we have the 87 Ford Sierra Cosworth. 9th place, we're going to put the Pontiac Firebird 400. 8th place is going to be the Honda Civic Custom. 7th place is the Ram 1500 Rebel. The only thing keeping that one from being higher on my list is the green windshield. 6th place is the Maxima Drift Wagon. Heading into our top 5, we're going to kick it off with the 64 Impala S. 64 Impala, not SS, just 64 Impala. I really thought about putting this one higher, but that just kind of shows how good of a year we have for Supers. 4th place is going to be the Porsche 911 Carrera 2.7, the Duckbill. 3rd place, I'm going to put the F40. I think there are 2 nicer Super Treasure hunts, but I do really love how this one looks. 2nd place is going to be the Subaru WRX STI, just very well done. And taking the gold medal is our golden Super Treasure hunt, the 70 Plymouth Barracuda, which looks phenomenal. Just to kind of wrap up my final thoughts, I will say I think this might be one of my favorite years for Super Treasure hunts in quite some time, at least since 2021. There's not a single Super Treasure hunt this year that I despise or don't like at all. There's something that I can see with every single Super Treasure hunt, even if it's not my favorite, even if it's one of the weaker ones, that I can say I at least like how they did it. And honestly, they're all pretty solid Super Treasure hunts. And it was really hard compared to even the last couple years to come up with a ranking for some of these. Like any other year, I think this would have been a top 3 Super. Even this one I would have put in my top 5 probably any other year. And even when you look at other ones that were just on the outside, just kind of in the top 10, the Pontiac Firebird 400 is really gorgeous. You have the Honda Civic Custom, which looks pretty nice in its own right. This is a really good year for Super Treasure hunts, and heading into 2027, we have our first 3 revealed. We have the Lincoln Continental, the BMW, and the Dodge D100. And if 2027 is anything like this year, I'm looking forward to seeing what Hot Wheels does this upcoming year. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this showcase. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends, family, cats, dogs, squirrels, whoever. Please just share the video. Happy hunting, stay safe, and have a great rest of your weekend.